Big Brother came from the Orwellian thing, you know, and the holding company came from an ad that I saw in, I think, Newsweek magazine or Time, one of the big news magazines, and I've forgotten who or what it was advertising, but the entity was the holding company, or it was some bank and holding company or something like that. And there was, at the time, the whole thing when you met another head or another person who smoked marijuana, you would say, "Are you holding?" to know if this person was in possession.
That's right.
So the holding company had that reference. So the holding company was this group of people holding the weed. Holding the
What
stack.
about calling my band Head? Just H-E-A-D.
Well, it's, it bears some thought, actually, although, you know, did you ever see the Nicholson movie called Head? Starring the monkeys? No, I'm serious. And actually, in retrospect, it's a funny film. I'd love to rent it and watch it. Nicholson directed it.
So Free James?
Free James, or Main Jane, those are two names.
Free James or Main Jane?
Yeah.
I think you might want to be iconoclastic and have some, like, some spiritual or affirmative meaning
Yeah.
to the band, like call it like Riptide, because I think the old is going out and the new is coming in. And right now, I mean, a lot of people are focusing on the horrible Nostradamus prophecies instead of what he said about finding multicolored gems and jewels and crystals that just come out of the earth and
Actually, a term.
beautiful things.
A term I have been fascinated with for years is sea change.
Is that with an S-E-A or an S-E-E?
S-E-A. Sea change. You say, when something changes 180 degrees overnight, that's called a sea change. You know, it's like the 60s was a sea change.
Yep.
It was like everything that we knew, everything we had accepted as familiar in a short period of 4 or 5 years changed irrevocably forever. You know, culture was never the same again. Has never, you know, things that are accepted now, you know, as commonplace, as ubiquitous, as common sense, were not common sense then. You know, and but I've always liked the term anyway. I don't know that it's a good name. I'm not even saying necessarily that it's a good name, but the concept I've always loved. It's a sea change. To me, in all of my thinking about the 60s, it's the most concise term I can think of what happened then. It was a sea change. You know, it's a nautical term, meaning how the weather shifts and how it's
Television
How about
protects you from the inside world.
Let me just think. How about see them?
See down, what does it mean? How about obedient pervert?
obedient pervert.
The truth hurts.
Well, you'd have a big audience in San
How about-
Francisco. I don't know if you'd
How
make it
about
out
the
of
truth hurts?
out of the city limits.
You
The
just
truth
said
hurts.
The truth hurts.
You said it yourself.
Wow.
Truth hurts.
That's interesting how the doesn't end up being.
All right.
That's weird. The truth hurts. Is that too long?
No.
Have you seen The Truth Hurts?
That is a good name.
That is a great little name.
One that would get challenged.
Why?
But,
Challenge? What's that?
because it would be challenged at, so you're going to tell us the truth. Who are you to tell us the truth? And so on and so forth. It's
Oh. Yeah.
something that in a lot of people would get an automatic challenge.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's akin to the principle of where you can't flack yourself. If you, as Freddy, go and say, "I'm the greatest flamenco guitarist in the world," there's a dozen people going to take you on and say, hey, you're a fucking asshole, Segovia was better, and you know, so on and so forth. But if I go and say, hey, my friend Freddie Clarke is the best flamenco guitarist that there ever was, it's one man's opinion, and I'm a second, and it's okay. You know what I mean? It's not going to get the same ego challenge.
All right,
that
the
if
truth
you
hurts.
say
How about
But
one
if you-
man's opinion?
One man's opinion. Okay, it's okay to have a longish name, but you have to understand that a longish name over time is going to be contracted.
All right, let's start with
Big
the
brother.
contraction.
Thirds.
PUD.
Thirds.
P-U-D.
Thirds.
PUD.
How about butt?
People.
But
B-U-T.
But.
I'm gonna go see Butt. I'm gonna go kiss Butt.
It definitely has potential for bumper stickers. What now? We love Bud.
He never does anything
Butt pretty.
half-assed.
Butt pretty.
He never does anything half-assed. He makes a total ass out of himself.
But ugly.
But ugly.
Whole ass.
But
When I was a child, one of you know how your
I
family,
think I'm going to put my hat on.
you know how your family has kind of inside jokes and everything. There was a real family known to my family, and anyway, a big joke in my family was about how these people named their kids and whatnot. It was Big Bud, Little Bud, and Bud Edgar. So that's the name of your bed. Big Bud, Little Bud, and Bud Edgar? No.
how about Butt Out?
Butt out. Butt out.
But,
That's kind of interesting.
Butt in.
No, butt
No.
out.
Butt
How do you
Out.
spell butt out?
I'm a real believer that you
B-U-T-T-O-T.
really have to stay away from
Butt.
well, negative implications or things that people's minds really don't want to dwell on. You know, that they
Yeah.
have avoidance reactions to. You know, they don't want to think about.
How about terror?
Let's call the band Puke. You know what I mean?
You're not recovering all of this.
Now in the 25th century, they'll be showing this video documentary here, and they say, way back in the 21st century, this is how they came up with band names. It's a kind of abstract name, but I still go back to half and half sometimes, you know?
Half and half.
How
Half and
about
half.
blue white?
Yeah.
That's like cream.
Yeah, it's
Blue,
like cream,
white.
you know, and it's
Blue, white.
Blue white.
blue,
Two colors. Blue white.
White not.
white nut. Freddy's cute.
Laura.
White nut.
I got the blues.
Laura, I got the Drews.
That's good news.
I got the Laura Drews.
How about sailing on the dew?
That's not long enough.
How about letting go of the dew? How about dealing with the dew?
They already got do the do.
I want the name.
I got a name. River Flowing Life.
That's almost a haiku.
I want to.
River Flowing
I
Life.
want the name to incorporate something that suggests flamenco, that suggests Middle Eastern music.
Huh.
How about save the flamencos?
Save the flamingos. That famous flamingo player. I
How about
actually,
flamingo?
I never was able to get to do it, although I actually did see.
Flaming go.
Flame and go.
A couple of years ago when we first met, I was talking to somebody and we were saying we should, just for a gag sometime, we should get a solid body electric guitar for Freddy that's like a flamingo, you know, with the feet.
And he plays flamingo guitar.
He plays flamingo. That's so
hilarious.
funny.
How about this one, you guys? Primate Party.
Yes.
Primate Party.
You have to keep this name for the rest
LS
of your life.
Deifies.
Right.
Swan Song.
You've been to a lot of parties.
I like Ecstatic Fanatic.
I like it, but not for this band.
How about, oh, you already had the Grateful Fred, huh?
Hey, why don't you
The
call
Grateful
it
Fred.
And the
I have
Fred
it.
heads.
Too
Why
many
don't
of
you call
those
it
names.
Weaving Spiders?
Hey.
Because of the internet and websites, what?
Spiders. I'm not here.
That's the color's name. He came up with that.
Weaving spiders.
He wanted to have a band at the Grove called that. That's when he gets in, he wants to have a band called the Weaving Spiders. It's a great name, isn't it?
Not bad. It's
Good name.
It's a good name. It's a good name. It's kind of,
You want something though that just ultimately rolls off the tongue. you know?
Birthday.
Birthday.
They say it's your birthday.
Remember we were
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about that?
we've tripped on that for quite a while.
well, maybe weaving something else though. Not spiders, but weaving something better. Like the opposite of spider.
There's another term that it's interesting how you fall in love with certain words and the concepts behind them, and also with the way they sound. But one of my favorite words in the, I guess, French language, actually it's not in the French language, it's in the Cajun language, is the word lagniappe. Lagniappe means when you sell a guy a bushel of wheat and you weigh it up to a full bushel measure, you reach in the other bag and you throw a couple more handfuls on, and that's lagniappe.
Line you up?
Lagniappe, you know what
Lagniappe.
that is in Quechua? Yapa. Yapa.
How about
Interesting, interesting.
piquez-moi?
It's like
similar.
a
It's
baker's
the extra
does,
they give you.
yeah, it's
The
just to
little
make
extra.
sure that you're being fair. So there's no
Listen.
question, you're being fair. You
Yeah,
go,
give me the yapa.
yeah.
Give me the
Mamita,
yapa.
Was there a movie? What was that movie? Was there a movie called Deep Chocolate?
Deep chocolate.
No,
Deep Chocolate.
There was Deep Throat and there was chocolate.
like, how about altiplano?
It's kind of a white name. Altiplano. It could be a Spanish name.
That's high
Now,
plains.
can you tell me once again why it can't?
You know what?
How
You know
about,
what
how about
Altica-
summit?
Oh, how about the rubber band?
Summit.
Well, I like that.
Been used, actually.
The rubber band?
You mean like Rubber Soul?
Freddie, how about summit?
Wasn't it
How about
Bootsy's,
Summertime?
Bootsy's Rubber Band?
Now, why can't
Summertime.
Chet? Why can't it be Freddie Clarke from Menlo Park?
Because about 5 guys in a band would kill Freddy. No, I wouldn't have a...
That's a thought. I mean, you even said that.
Yeah.
You just tell him on the camera what his
Well, I
idea.
originally was going to do a whole teaser campaign for Freddy. You know, that was when it was a little more of a solo act in many ways, but I was going to do a whole thing that was... first it'd say Freddie Clarke from Menlo Park, and then it would say... actually, let's see.
He had a bumper sticker. It
I
said
had
Freddie
a
Clarke
series of 3.
from Menlo Park, and then the next one would say, "Who the hell is Freddie
Oh,
Clarke?"
no, I'm sorry. The second one would say...
Where the hell's Menlo Park?
Where the hell is Menlo Park? and then the third one would say,
Who the hell is Freddie Clarke?
and then there was a, I think yet another one that was a permutation of the words was, let's see, Freddie Park from Menlo Clarke or
Yeah.
something like that we were going to do. But just, I'm pretty good at teaser campaigns.
Menlo Clarke.
Menlo Clarke.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's a very
That is a very pretty
sophisticated
name. Menlo Clarke.
Menlo Clarke.
It
Really?
sounds like a real, yeah.
Yeah, it
sounds-
is interesting.
That
It
is nice.
interesting.
And then
Menlo
there'd be
Clarke.
history to it.
Right.
Menlo Clarke, that is so cool.
That's
It's
Wow,
a very
isn't it?
nice
It
name.
is
Yes. It's better than Freddy Park.
I like it too. It has a kind of abstract.
It's like totally.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
one of a kind.
Yeah.
Like if someone had
Nobody
never,
has that name like that.
Right.
No, but if
Clarke.
someone heard that who didn't know you at all in your music, wow, let's go to hear Menlo Clarke
All
tonight.
right, Menlo Clarke from Freddy Park.
No, but they say, hey, that group Menlo Clarke, it doesn't sound like a name. You know, it sounds.
Menlo is even kind of nice, huh?
Right.
What does it
Clarke is
mean?
nice.
Menlo.
What does it mean?
Well,
Well, as
Menlo
opposed
is
to high.
Menlo is now, I mean, the one we relate to is, or Menlo Park anyway, is in
It's got substance.
down the Silicon Valley. The original Menlo Park was in New Jersey, and that was Thomas Alva Edison's studio, or his laboratory was Menlo Park, New Jersey. And,
Menlo Clarke is really, it has a quality.
yeah, Menlo Clarke. Yeah.
Mental Park.
No,
Mental Park.
Menlo Park.
no mental. Mental is.
Mental is mental.
This is
Heavy
not,
mental.
This is not for the band, but there used to be a sign when you would walk up the boardwalk walk up the shoreline at Santa Monica. We used to do these art trade shows down there. There were all these little flea bag motels along there, and we would walk along to go to this one restaurant. There was this one motel, and they had one of those marquees where you put the separate letters on it, and at one time it said reasonable rates, but at some point or another somebody had dinged the E, so it said reasonable rats. So I've always thought reasonable rats was a good name for something.
Reasonable rats.
Reasonable rats. You want to stay away from things that are real topical. I mean, you know what I mean? You don't want to...
Star Spangled Bummer.
Well, that's
Star
not
Spangled
necessarily-
Bummer.
That one might endure.
What happened to the Star Spangled Boner?
It's good.
She's good.
We have met our match here. We will behave. $5 cover. Someday, it's gonna go up.
The name could be cover charge.
Cover charge, right. Now appearing.
No cover.
Uncover.
Uncover. Ooh.
See, unfortunately, there are names like that, even though they're cute because they're ubiquitous names, but like Now Appearing, for example, would be a deadly name, you know? You
Wow.
should call yourself Now Appearing, and no one would ever understand. And it's cute at a certain level once you got it, you know, but
How
on
about-
the other
It
hand,
would be forgotten
It
before.
would
I
be
think we should
forgotten.
call it free beer.
free beer.
How about the letter M and then bear, B-A-R-E, and then ass?
Embarrassed.
Isn't that how people get embarrassed anyway, is if their ass is bare? So if you're going to call it butt,
See, Menlo Clarke style name. Menlo Clarke could be famous. You could see that name on things. And it has a graphic beauty to it. It's not silly. You don't want a name that's going to be silly.
good morning.
Who was that guy?
You're still recording it.
Yep. It was a nice evening, even though we got told we had to be quiet. I'm really sorry about that.
Well, we're being quiet.
Well, just to think of one person complaining.
So maybe we should try to keep it until 10:30, huh?
Yeah, I think that big battery and the bass was really cranked up.
What?
The trap set is loud and the bass was cranked up.
Hard to put.
The bass was really loud. It was vibrating. Oh, you couldn't hear it. Couldn't
Yeah,
hear
that's the problem with bass, though, is you feel it through
Right.
the building. So
So it felt louder
it. You
than
could
usual.
hear the bass and the drums upstairs. That's it. Yeah, it was reverberating. The bass.
So you don't think we should have the
reverberated
drummer?
Usually the bass isn't so loud, but I don't know. I don't think.
What if
I
we
saw that
quit
Owen,
at 10:30?
I saw that Owen didn't like you having that. The guy on the trap set was really good,
Oh, he's incredible.
but I could see that Owen was eyeing him. Because when I suggested, I said, "Oh, you have a trap drum." And I hope it's not too loud. He said, "Well, you don't."
Pardon?
I could see that Owen maybe was a little sensitive about that.
Oh, no, they work
Huh?
together. They like each other. It's going great. Yeah, when we really stretch out like at the other place,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Well, honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, I like David, but the comment also at Water Street a lot from several.
On a roll or on a roll?
On her roll.
No.
Yeah.
Don't
I think she's on a roll.
Forget rock and roll. On her roll.
On a roll. Wait, what was it? It was unpaved
Unpaved.
and left no stone unturned.
No left turn unstoned.
No left turn unstoned.
That's really
No
cool.
left turn on stone. No left turn on stone. Write that down. No left turn on stone.
Yeah, that's word
That's
from
very
Mr.
good.
Kesey. That used to be it.
That's very.
Actually, it used to be a road sign in front of his place that they had.
Oh, that said that?
Down in La
Oh,
Jolla.
no,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
so-
I thought you just made that up. That's,
No, that
that's
was
really good. Hey,
no left turn
do you want
unstoned.
something else to drink? Anyone want
A
something?
little more
to
water would be great.
drink? Just water?
Water. Yeah.
Water? You
Yeah.
want anything else but water?
Oh wait, wasn't there a guy named like
Do you want
Sergio
a
something? Water would be nice, yeah. Water. Menlo Clarke. Menlo Clarke. It sounds Brazilian.
What? Poppycock.
Oh my God, the images.
Cocky Pop.
Iggy Pop.
Cocky
Iggy Pop, Cocky Pop. Cocky Pop. No.
Oh, God.
How about too many men?
Men high drive, women high drive. Thank you. If you have men low park. No, this is getting really degenerate.
Ellen Degenerate?
Actually, I think Menlo Clarke actually deserves some thought.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, it's abstract, but there's some things I
Let's
like.
call it
the
Chet
fact-
Helms. The Chet Helms experience.
Well, you know what?
Seriously.
You know what George Mikowski's first band was named? Literally, his first band. He grew up in San Francisco, and he was a kid. He was about 13 or 14 when I was doing my thing. Chet Helms' older brother was the name of their band at the time.
Wow, that's cool.
That is cute. That's adorable.
They could, according to him, they couldn't think of anything cooler than to be Chet Helms' older brother, the guy who taught Chet Helms all he knew. You know what I mean?
Chob.
Chob.
But he
Get a
was.
job.
Was he a blood relative?
Who dat?
He couldn't have been a blood relative.
That?
Blood relative.
Yeah.
That's too bloody. You don't want anything
Yeah.
bloody.
How about its relative? We're all relative.
Gravity sucks.
I want him to be too academic. You want the name needs to, in this time anyway. Well, I think it needs to suggest fun. It needs to suggest
Bombs of love.
Fun. Fun and release. That's what it needs to convey.
Love terrorist.
The love terrorists.
Instead of terrorist acts, we're going to perform love acts.
That's scraping bottom.
Acts of love.
Scraping
Random
bottom.
acts of kindness.
Bottom of the barrel.
Unfortunately, the rock bottom remainders is taken.
The rock bottom remains.
That's Kelvin and all those writers' band. I mean, none of them can sing for shit. I don't think any of them are musicians.
Rock bottom, yeah, that's a good name.
But they
Rock
have a
bottom.
band called the Rock Bottom Remainders.
I like the Over the Hillbillies.
You know what they say?
No, because that's
Once
not
you're
true.
over the hill, you pick up speed.
Boy. I like that. Pick up speed.
But speed will happen.
Right.
People think it's pick up speed.
Why don't you call it crystal meth, man?
How about metaphor?
Too academic. Leave most of your audience behind. Let's see.
The big astronauts.
The half astronauts.
The cosmonauts. Let's see.
Love.com.
I've been down thinking of all these things I'm saying.
One of the best one, it was based actually, I found out many years later on an old Alka-Seltzer ad, or an antacid ad, and anyway, it said LSD consumes 43 times, let's see, 43 times its own weight in excess reality. But the original thing was Alka-Seltzer consumes 43 times its own weight in excess acid. But anyway,
Excess acid.
right. But anyway, I saw that as a graffiti in an elevator in the '60s in New York.
You remembered.
Excess reality.
Right. LSD consumes 43 times its own weight in excess reality.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
There was when I was in London,
Excess reality.
there was a flyer in a bathroom there in somebody's pad that I stayed at. That was actually, the flyer came out of New York, but it was an advertisement for the First National Church of the Exquisite Panic. And it basically said that none of the great achievements of the world or of culture or world civilization were ever done in any kind of measured, thoughtful, organized way. They were always done at the height of an exquisite panic.
Exquisite Panic, that's a good name.
Exquisite panic, right.
Mm-hmm.
A little too close to widespread panic, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right now. It wouldn't be a bad name. Exquisite panic wouldn't be.
Exquisite Pleasure?
Excess reality.
Excess reality.
That's too harsh.
A little too harsh. Yeah, it is. But
I like the-
interesting.
I like the magnet that says, if you think you're too small to make a difference, you've never been in bed with a mosquito. And there was a mosquito that woke me up the other night that was just driving me crazy, and it
So
made
cool.
me email you guys.
How
That's
about
hilarious.
how about the name Never Been in Bed?
Never been in bed.
You could call it the wasps.
Oh, and it's
The
so
white
not-
Anglo-Saxon
we are-
Protestants.
Yeah,
you're
we are
so-
also not that.
Right.
That's
You
funny.
call it the wasps. Yeah. There was a great sci-fi story I read once about this planet that had a tyrannical government and all that. And the paradigm at the beginning of the story, they quoted from a newspaper article, and it was about how this guy was driving down the road in rural Georgia or someplace like that, and a wasp had flown in the window of his car, and how essentially in the course of his attempts to deal with the wasp, he crashed the car. So anyway, then the sci-fi story was based on the idea of this essentially terrorist group that were parachuted into this tyrannical planet, and they were only 2 or 3 operatives, but they had all these clever high-tech things like hydrofluoric acid labels that they stuck on glass windows, so when they tried to wash them off, the acid ate into the window, so it was permanently etched in the slogan and stuff in it.
Wow.
Anyway, this whole little sci-fi story was based on this little paradigm of the wasp, how in a way we're witnessing it right now, the wasp with the Twin Towers, you know what I mean? In a sense, this was a very low-tech thing, that was just done to us, and that, but it revealed the fragility of the whole.
Fragility?
Fragility.
Yeah,
Fragility.
Yeah.
It was very fragile.
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 How about the tyranny nose?
Is that N-O-S-E or
Yeah.
N-O-S-E?
Tyranny nose.
Tyranny nose.
Tyranny nose.
Tyranny. Oh, battery. Oh, battery.